Next step in the configuration is to set up the release pipeline. This is a continuous delivery. So for that, we need to create a new pipeline. And we create an empty job. This is gonna be for history. Continuous deployment history. And first thing we need to do is to add an artifact. We choose from our project. We also select the continuous integration pipeline for history, and we save it. Then we got, once the continuous integration finishes, it is gonna run this job. And let's click on the job. And the first thing we need to do is to replace the version that is being deployed for our container, history container. And for that, we need to replace this in the file, in the YAML file. So first thing to do, we need to edit the agent job. We need to create a continuous delivery history job. We're gonna choose an agent pool. There's our Azure Pipelines, and it's gonna be running on Ubuntu. Next, we need to replace this by adding a new task, and the task is gonna be replace token. We replace a token. So what is our root directory? Well, the root directory is gonna be where our artifact was deployed. And as you can see, when we edited the continuous integration pipeline and we told them to copy the Kubernetes file, the YAML file, now it should appear here along with the zip file, and we can see it here. So we choose the directory, which is the file that is gonna be placing, is the YAML file. And what is the pattern? Well, the pattern is the double underscore. We choose this one, and that's it. And this is gonna replace with the latest version on the file that is gonna find here, and the file is this one. Then we need to actually apply the configuration into our Kubernetes cluster, and for that we need to run a command, kubectl. Kubectl is the command line for running Kubernetes commands. And here we need to choose our service, that is the Azure Service Manager. We need to choose our subscription that we have. The subscription that we have is this one. And we need to authorize, so we need to log in. Once it's authorized, it's going to create a connection, and this connection is going to be reused in other part later on the setup. Let's wait until it is authorized. Once it's authorized, we can select the resource group. There is Microservice for Azure. We need to choose the Kubernetes cluster that we just created. We use the admin credentials. And this is it for the configuration for the Kubernetes cluster. Next one, we are gonna run a command. And as you know, the command to apply the configuration is apply. So we need to run the apply. where. We need to click here and use configuration, and we select the file that is going to apply the configuration. And in this case, we have access to the file that we copied in the continuous integration pipeline. And that's it. Selecting the file. Let's close this one. We don't have any secrets configured, but if we had some secrets, we should manage that here. And we also don't have config maps, as we configure our variable environments inside the file. We go to advanced, version, we check here for the latest version, and we don't need anything here. Control apps, output variables. And that's it for the configuration for the Kubernetes. This is gonna apply the configuration, and it is gonna run what we have configured in our file inside our Kubernetes cluster. Last step is to configure the event that when the continuous integration finishes, it should run also the continuous system delivery. And for that, we click here on the continuous integration deployment trigger, and we enable that when it finishes running, it should also run the job for the continuous delivery. We finish, we save this, the comment, configuring, continuous deployment for history app. Let's make a test. Let's do a change here. No, let's add a space. Testing. We go to first. We need to go to the pipelines to check that if when it finished. Let's go to the pipelines. Continuous history is running, and we go also to the Kubernetes cluster. We should see here a node after it finished creating continuous pipeline. Let's check the status. Do the job. Still running. Okay, the job finished. Should be applying now the configuration into our AKS. Let's go now to 10 releases. The continuous release pipeline finished. We can see that it ran the job successfully. Deployed successfully. Automatic trigger. Now we should see. So let's look for the application. Oh, we go to the workloads and we can see that our application history was deployed into our cluster, but for some reason we have some issues. So we can see that the version that is deployed is at 30, and we can go to our container registry to make sure that's true. Repositories, history, version 30 is the last one. We need to figure out what's going on. Well, when Kubernetes starts creating containers for a particular container runtime, it might be possible the container it is in a waiting state because of imagine pullback. The status imagine pullback off means that a container could not start because Kubernetes could not pull a container image for reasons such as invalid image name or pulling from a private registry without the imagine pull secret. Oh, okay, I forgot. Okay, this is fine. We need to, as I said before, in our file we configured a secret key, and this secret key I didn't add it into the job So let's go to the job, and we need to add that secret into our application. So here, I told you before that we were gonna use the connection that was created when connecting to the Azure subscription. So actually, we should see that connection in the project settings in our connections. Project configurations. Service group. No. Project configurations. Agent proof. No, but nice. Settings. Service connections. Service connections. We created a connection here using the Azure Manager, and this one is the same one that we are gonna use to connect using the secret command. Go to the secret, get the registry, Azure Container Registry, yes, and we're gonna use the connection that was created. So select the Azure Registry and the secret name, and the secret name that we configured before was my super secret pass. And we save this again. Super key. We go to the release one, and we're gonna apply manually. Just click on Git release. We need to go to the releases. We need to edit release. We need to click on create release. We select our continuous deployment trigger, and we just create it. This is the manual steps to deploy our application, to run the pipeline, the continuous the delivery pipeline, and run the config file. So let's go to releases again. Let's wait until release 2 finishes. So it didn't work because I'm not using. So imagine for secret. Let's search this. Imagine put secrets. We add a name. Yes, fine.